Woke up slow, windows wide, coffee's warm, light feels right. Just one text made me smile. Ain't no love, just your style. Don't need much.
Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I am so sorry it has been so long since I have filmed a video, but the holidays have been crazy. First of all, it started with Thanksgiving, and then I got sick, and then my mom went to the hospital. So I've just been dealing with a lot of craziness behind the scenes, and so it's been taking away from my ability to just focus and film a long form content video for you guys. But hopefully things are now coming around the corner and things are kind of getting situated a little bit, so I will be able to get back to my weekly filming. Maybe I'll be able to upload more, but I'm still thinking it's going to be one long form content on Thursday evenings, and then I'm going to be uploading short videos sporadically throughout the week. I am going to try to at least upload 4 or 5 short form content videos and then the one long form content video. So today I decided that because a lot has been going on, that I would do just a chatty get ready with me. I have got to go to Pilates here. I know. Another get ready with me before Pilates, like that makes any sense, but this is the reality of life, right? I need to film a video and I need to go to Pilates because I go to Pilates not only for my physical health, but also for my mental health. And I wanted to chat about that. But before I start chatting and just make this just a chatty and not a get ready with me, let me start getting ready so that time doesn't get away from me, because we all know what happens when I start chitty chatting and then I forget that I'm supposed to be getting ready at the same time, and then time just gets away from me and we forget that we have a time crunch that we have to work with, and then I am rushing, and I hate rushing when I get ready. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is, of course, start with my base, and this is the No Problem Primer by Touch and Soul. I'll put the stuff on the screen so you guys know what I'm using, so that I am not forgetting any products for you guys. But basically, what has really been stressing me out is this situation with my mom. As you guys know, or if you guys don't know, if you're new to my channel, I have complex PTSD. I have complex PTSD from growing up in a very dysfunctional household, in a very unstable household. And a lot of that is due to my mom. And I have had a very estranged relationship with my mom forever, ever since I was a kid. And so now that I am in a position where she is older and she is in a situation where she needs help and support, and nobody else in my family wants to step up and help her, it is actually falling on my shoulders, which is creating a lot of anguish and anxiety and stress on my part, because again, there's just a lot of things that have happened and transpired between my mother and I as I was growing up, even into my young adulthood life. And I am 40 now, so just throughout my entire life, there's just been a lot of things that have transpired to where I choose to keep my mom still in my life, but I have to have very strong boundaries there. I used to be somebody who had codependency issues, and I was the fixer, so I would sacrifice my own mental well-being and my own happiness and joy and my own mental stability to be a people pleaser and to help everyone else. And if you are somebody who has struggled with that or struggles with that, I know what that feels like. And It's very draining, not only mentally, but physically. It takes a toll on your body. And so, I have been in therapy for about 5 years now, and I am learning how to use different coping skills to manage my relationships that cause me a lot of anxiety and stress. And so, with this situation, it was very hard for me not to, run in and rush in and say, okay, yeah, let me just help you and be your caretaker and do whatever it is that you need, without realizing the long-term effects of that on my life. You know, it's also coming from somebody who, like, I'm half Filipino, so coming from Filipino culture, where it doesn't matter what has transpired, you're supposed to drop everything that you're doing to help your elders, and it's very toxic, the culture that is in just in like traditional Filipino culture is very toxic. Like, it doesn't matter what people do to you. Like, it's almost like they promote emotional abuse. And I'm sorry to say that, but if you have ever grown up in a Filipino family or in Filipino culture, you know that is the truth. So I am trying to not necessarily break that stigma, but I'm trying to be cognizant that that is something that exists, and it's something that I don't want to take on. I'm glad to help my mom out, but I by no means want to sacrifice my mental health, and I don't want to sacrifice my life. I've got a great life ahead of me, and it is not my responsibility. That's something that my therapist had to remind me. It's not my responsibility to give up my life to be a caretaker, especially if it is taking care of somebody who didn't even take care of me as a child or ever act as a mother figure to me. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I know that's pretty heavy and a lot to kind of, address, but the reason why I want to be transparent and talk about these things is because I know I am not alone in this, especially when it comes to family dynamics. Like, I think just dealing with, old school cultures, we just are, especially when you don't grow up, like, I'm Filipino American, right? So I didn't grow up in the Philippines. I was born in the Philippines, but I wasn't raised in the Philippines. So I was raised in America, and so I have more of an American viewpoint on a lot of things, whereas my mother was raised in the Philippines, and she has a lot of old school Filipino ways of thinking, where she thinks that you're supposed to drop whatever you're doing to take care of your elders, and had the audacity to tell me, you're my daughter, you're supposed to take care of me, you need to stop whatever you're doing and take care of me. And thank God I'm in therapy, you guys, because I had to stop, and I finally stood up for myself. For years, I would be the doormat, and I would not stand up for myself, and I wouldn't say anything. But this time, I said, no, I'm sorry, but excuse you. It is not my job to take care of you. You are a grown adult. You're fully capable of taking care of yourself, and it is not my responsibility to take care of you. It is your responsibility to take care of yourself. I am happy to help you as your daughter, but it is not my responsibility to take care of you. And when I told her that, she was very taken aback by that, but I think she realized that she could no longer manipulate me, and that was something that is new for her, because she has a tendency to play victim to everyone around her so that people will help her. And it's just a lot. If you've ever dealt with somebody who has narcissistic tendencies and narcissistic like personality disorder, then you kind of know how difficult it can be when it's almost like they believe their lies and they believe everything that they're saying to be true, and it could be further, like the furthest thing from the truth like that's even possible. And it took me a long time to really accept the fact and really digest the fact that this is kind of where my family is at. My dad died when I was 14, so I don't really have my dad to talk to and use as a sounding board anymore, but my dad was the person who raised me, and he was really a great person, and he's the reason why, even though I have an estranged relationship with my mom, he's the reason why I still choose to have my mom in my life, because my dad didn't raise me to be a heartless person, and he always told me, forgive your mom for her wrongdoings and to give your stepfather a chance. Now, my mom and my stepdad aren't married anymore, but he said, give your stepfather a chance. It's not his fault, the situation. So it really shows you the character of my father. And so I really believe all of the strife and the things that I've gone through in life, I really believe that it's a testament to all of the sacrifices that my dad made, and, just the character of my father and his kindness. And, even though my mom and my dad didn't see eye to eye, when one parent talks negatively about one parent and then there's one parent that never says anything negative about the other parent, it really says something about each person's character. So I think that's something to be really mindful of if you, have kids and you are raising them as a single parent. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to that from a parental standpoint, but as a child who was raised by divorced parents, I can tell you that I really respect my father for never saying anything negative about my dad, but my mom always talked negative about my father, even after his death. And so that's why there's a lot of animosity from, one of my sisters towards my mom, and she chooses not to have a relationship with my mom because of it. And that's okay, that's her choice. But that's why I've kind of haven't been present on my YouTube channel, is because I've kind of been digesting and processing how I'm going to support my mom, but still have boundaries and still be able to sustain my mental health. And because there's a lot of support that is needed on her end. She doesn't know how to pay bills. She doesn't know how to, she won't have a car, so she doesn't know how to like order groceries for delivery to her house or her apartment that she's going to be getting. She doesn't know how to call an Uber if she needs to get a ride to the doctors. She doesn't know how to do any of those things. And so she lives out of state from me. I live in Colorado and she lives in Arizona. So there is that barrier where I'm trying to support her and help her from out of state. And at first I thought, maybe I would relocate her to Colorado to help her here. But where I live in Boulder, Colorado, it's very, very expensive, even for a studio apartment for seniors with an affordable housing complex. It is $1,300, and that's just for a studio, a small studio. And it's a senior only complex for low-income seniors, and you know, she doesn't really get very much money. She's on SSI, and so she can't really afford that, and I'm not in a position to pay her rent for her. So we looked for an apartment in Arizona for her that's much more affordable and that she can, for the most part, sustain on her own. But so these are like the challenges that, you know, I'm kind of trying to navigate. And I've had to have an emergency session with my therapist because, you know, again, my old behaviors would just have me dropping everything to, you know, just give up my entire life and give up all of the progress that I've made over the past 4 years of not, you know, leaning into those codependent behaviors and not trying to be the fixer of everybody's problems, and learning to just be responsible for myself and my life. And, you know, that is something that, believe it or not, takes time to actually to do. And you have gone years and years actually really it's deflecting. You deflect from working on your own stuff, working through your your past, your trauma, all of those types of things. That's when you finally get to a point in your life when you realize, hey, my life is not the way that I want it to be. It's not really working. And you start to want to heal and you work on your healing journey. You start to recognize that you have, like, probably in the past, you have adopted fixing other people's problems. And so not only were you trying to work out your own problems, but you were fixing other people's problems as well. And that's why you're so exhausted and overwhelmed. And so once I started to realize that, my therapist had to remind me that I had a choice. And something as simple as that, reminding me that I had a choice, was really, really powerful. So I had to sit with that reminder for about a week and say, I do have a choice. And my choice is not to move my mother to Colorado because, one, she can't afford it, and two, it's not good for my mental health because I would be the only person who would be able to help and support her, when in Arizona she's got a lot of friends and stuff that can help and support her over there. So I had to sit and think about that. And so then I said, yes, I do have a choice, and my choice is to support my mom, but to still keep my healthy boundaries in place. And in order to keep those healthy boundaries in place, that means that I don't move her to where I'm at. And some people might think that that is heartless. Some people might think that, you know, why wouldn't you help your mom? I am still helping my mom, but again, I have to have healthy boundaries in place because it's very difficult when you have a grown-ass adult who chooses not to handle their life, or who chooses not to help themselves and wants everybody else around them to fix their problems, and has been able to successfully do this for over 40 something years. It's time. It's time that that person learns to be self-sufficient. And so I know this is kind of a lot, right? But I feel like there's so many people who can relate to me and my situation, and that's why I'm like, no, I feel like it's okay to share it. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not sharing the whole dynamic of what has gone down in the past because I don't think that's appropriate. But there is an estranged relationship there, and there's so many reasons for it. But yeah, so I think the moral of the story here, if you're still hanging around, is even if you have to help a family member, whether that's a parent or a sibling or whomever, who, you know, might affect your mental health or your mental stability because they have caused you strife in the past, that you still have a choice on how you handle that interaction in that situation. And it doesn't mean, why does that look like that didn't carve out right? It looks like that's not okay. It looks like it didn't carve out right. So the moral of the story, yeah, is again to just remember to have healthy boundaries and not feel like you have to give up your life for somebody else's piss poor choices, basically. Please do not feel like you have to sacrifice your entire life to solve somebody else's problems, especially if that person is fully capable of solving their problems on their own. And, you know, I even had to talk to other people who are close to people in this scenario, so who know my mom, who know the history of my family, who know all of these things, and they also encouraged the same thing, which is to keep my mom in Arizona and to just support her in ways that I can from afar. So yeah, I think listening to one of my favorite people that I have listened to in my healing journey was Nicole LaPera. She is the holistic psychologist, and she wrote this book called How to Do the Work, and that book was actually what started me on my healing journey. She has this community called the Self-Healer Circle, and that I joined that community and I was part of that community for a little while, but really her books and her work on social media are really helpful because she helps you understand the difficult dynamic of relationships, whether they are romantic relationships or difficult relationships within your family. And most of the time that's what she's addressing in her, whether it's her podcast or her social media. She shares with you how to navigate these really challenging situations, and I'll put her information in the description box, because if you struggle with difficult family dynamics like I do, Dr. Nicole LaPera, you will want to follow her on social media. And I don't know if she has a YouTube channel, but I know she definitely is active on social media. And like I said, she has this thing called the Self-Healer Circle, where it's an online community, and I believe it's $30 a month, and she does like these, I think they're monthly teachings on there, and she has like guest speakers and stuff like that come on as well. Okay, my eyeliner is gonna piss me off today because I feel like it's not matching. Okay, that's a little better, but my eyeliner is gonna not match today. I think it's gonna be one of those days. Help me. Oh well, good enough. Good enough. I'm not erasing it to redo it. So yeah. You see where my brain has been? Like, it's been so much where like the anxiety levels have been so high, and then it's been hard for me to like take on a lot of stuff, and then there's other stuff that is going on outside of helping my mom. Where is my eyelash curler? Oh, here it is. Just besides helping my mom out. So I have my own stuff that I'm going through and dealing with. I'm also helping my sister through a transition right now. And so there's a lot of components to my living situation right now. And I cannot wait for the day, you guys, where I tell you I have bought my house and I have it set up and take you along on that journey, and it's just you and I and the dog, and we get to make fun videos with, you know, just you and I and the dog. Like Marissa McNamara, like she is one of the YouTubers that I watch a lot lately, and a lot of her videos now, I think she was married. I don't know if she's still married or not. She used to have her husband in her videos, and her husband isn't in her videos anymore, so I don't know what happened with that. None of my business, but all I know is that it's just her and her doggy in her videos now, and that is the life I aspire to. Oh gosh, just me and my dog. What a simple, simple life, right? That's me. That's all I aspire to. I'm a very basic, boring bitch. That's what I want. Me and my dog in my house. In my Jeep. And that's it. So, yeah. How are you guys? Let me know. How is the holidays going for you? I cannot believe that Christmas is literally next week. Like, how the hell did that happen? What? This video is definitely gonna go up on Thursday. Today is Tuesday as I'm filming this. So I will edit this and get this up for you guys on Thursday. And then a week from today, or a week from upload, I should say, will be Christmas. And maybe I would try to make a video to go up on Christmas Day as well. So I have been making a list of different types of videos to film for you guys. One of the videos that I have been meaning to make since literally October is a favorites video. Sorry for that throat clearing situation. So I think I'm gonna do that favorites video for December, and that will be my Christmas Day video, and that will be the last video for December and for 2025. So I think that is definitely what I'm gonna do, and we will do that. I still have these nails, guys, that, remember I told you that I was going to do a video of, you know, a tutorial of me doing the nails. I still haven't done my nails. Obviously, they look like crap, but hopefully I do them at some point, and I will film those. These are by the company BT Art Box. They're really good, you guys. So if you are doing at-home nails, like this brand is really good. Yeah. I'm a little all over the place today. Like I said, my brain is kind of overwhelmed with anxiety, but I'm getting better with managing that. And on top of that, I'm saying a lot, and I notice that when I edit my videos, so I'm very sorry about that. I will get better. Like I said, as I continue to get back to filming content more and getting back on my grind, I will just get better at all of the things. Right now, I am still a baby YouTuber and figuring life out. I am also trying to figure out my Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. And I used to be on TikTok. I liked TikTok, but then I used to lose like hours of my life on TikTok, so I had to delete it because I was spending too much of my life on that app, and it shifted. It used to be like a place where it was like really funny, and there was a lot of like, it was fun and lighthearted, and then all of a sudden it became super aesthetic, and it became about like fancy stuff, and I don't know, it just shifted. So I was just not into it as much as I once was in the past. I don't know. Maybe it's changed again. Maybe it's like a fun space to be in again. But if you know what I'm talking about, then yeah, I don't know. I just choose not to be on TikTok right now. I just choose to be on Instagram and YouTube. Those are really the only two platforms that you will find me on. And I think that's kind of good. Like, as a content creator, I know that some can successfully be on all platforms, but I don't have like a large team. It's just me, obviously, as like a new baby YouTuber. So I don't have like a large team or anything like that where I can have, oh, this is not the color I want to use. I can have a bunch of support and people creating content for me to post on all of these different platforms and things, and maybe one day. But for now, it's just me and you. It's just me and you. Yeah, I've been waiting. So this is the look today, guys. I just threw it together, and I am gonna make a short after this of my Pilates outfit. I need to throw on some lashes, actually, and then the look will be complete. And I will be ready to go. I'm just gonna take my hair out. My hair has been in a braid 90% of the time because I just haven't had the time to get... Oh, so the lashes I'm going to use are these Pompadour lashes by Kiss. These are literally my favorite lashes right now. I've been obsessed with them. They look like in the middle between natural and Vavavoomie. So not quite super voluminous, but not like, you know what I mean? Like not overdone, but not quite so natural to the point where it doesn't look like you have false lashes on. So I like that in-between look to where you can tell that you have lashes on, but it's not too over the top. And these Pompadour Kiss lashes are it. So I feel like something is happening here. Oh, maybe I needed to just tweeze, because this area right here is just looking kind of dark. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that situation later when I have time. You guys ever do your makeup and then you look at it and you're like, what's happening here? Like, this eyebrow looks great. I mean, there's a couple of areas that need to be tweezed, but for some reason something's happening with this eyebrow that I'm not... Okay, can you guys see, like, that eyebrow? I feel like something's happening that I don't love there. This eyebrow is strong. This eyebrow is money. This eyebrow, no. But we don't have time to address it. We need to finish this look and get to... Oops, I didn't mean to get glue on my eyelid. We need to get to Pilates. You guys, so I don't remember if I told you that I joined the Pilates studio, and I really enjoy going, but there's not really like a level of community there. And I love, like, when I work out at like a studio, I love the community feel. Like, I love getting to know the other people who go to Pilates, and I love getting to know the instructors. And I've been there for 3 months now, and I like don't have that community built in at all. And so I actually canceled my membership. So I'm going to have my last month in January, and then I'm going back to my yoga studio that I used to go to last year because I really got that community feel, and I knew all of my instructors at the yoga studio I went to, and I also was like got to know a lot of the members that attended the yoga studio. So I felt like not only did it help my mental health by going to the yoga studio, but I also got that community element that I am looking for. And I also don't know if I told you guys this, but I probably didn't because I haven't talked to you in a minute. But I did buy a reformer, a Pilates reformer for Black Friday. So I have a Pilates reformer here at my house, and I use an app called Pilates Anytime. Now, you don't have to have a reformer in order to do Pilates through the app. They actually have mat workouts that are also challenging as hell. So if you are a Pilates girly, or you want to be a Pilates girly, but you don't want to pay the outrageous studio fees, girl, go and look at Pilates Anytime. The app is literally $22 a month, and there are so many different types of instructors. My favorite one is, my favorite instructor right now is Andrea Spear. She has her own app too, but you can, like I said, the nice thing about Pilates Anytime is that they have a lot of different instructors. And if you should happen to have a reformer, or you are planning to get a reformer at your house, they have both reformer based follow along workouts, and then they have mat based follow along workouts. So I like that for me because it's the best of both worlds. So if I feel like doing a workout on the reformer, then I have that option. Or if I feel like doing a workout on the mat, then I have that option as well. And then, what's it called? Not only that, they have just different instructors, so you can pick and choose and find what instructor you like. And then they also have challenges. So you can do like a 28-day challenge or a 7-day challenge to see, which one you like the most as well, when it comes to that. So that's what I am trying. You can try out a bunch of different apps. Most of them have 7-day trials. I am also still on ladder, so I am still doing my ladder workouts, but I just don't do those as much since I am doing the Pilates stuff now. So yeah. So anyways, let me take my hair out. You see how I like doing braids because you can just take it out and then your hair still looks cute, it just looks like wavy. So yeah. Okay, friends, so that is going to do it for today's look. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to me yap if you've made it this far. Like I said, I'm going to be a lot better at making videos and content, different types of content, so you and I can get to know each other better, and we can have so much fun here together on YouTube. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.